Hey guys, back with you with some Esther. We're in chapter 4 tonight. Just to give you a little recap of what the chapter 3 takeaways were that I wrote down and found to stick out the most were we're introduced to Haman, the king's King Ahasuerus's right-hand man, that is the leader of all of the officials. We're introduced to him, and we're introduced to how Mordecai was a Jew. Learn a little bit more about Mordecai and him being a Jew, and him denying to bow at Haman's feet. Haman getting angry, lashing out, being too prideful, not being humble. He gets mad and finds out that Mordecai isn't bowing to him, so he sets out and makes it his mission to kill all the Jews in all the provinces, children, women, everyone. So he asks the king if that's okay and if they can make that happen, and the king agreed with him. So they made a decree and sent the document out and signed it, and then sent to out all of the people, and just to let them know that if they see a Jew, then they kill them. So that is where I believe we left off. Let's see here. Yeah, copy of the document. Yeah. And yeah, that's where we left off. So I'm just going to go read chapter 4. It's a short chapter tonight, so probably just have a few things to say. But still a good video, still some learning to do. So yeah. See you guys in a minute. Okay, guys. Chapter 4, only 17 verses, but we have a lot that goes down in these 17 verses. A lot to happen, a lot that Esther does, a lot that Mordecai says, a lot of sadness. So right off the get-go, we see that in the beginning of chapter 4, we see Mordecai crying out and just mourning and being upset and devastated and falling at the king's gate, outside the king's gate in sackcloth, which was never to be seen in front of the king. Never supposed to wear sackcloth in front of the king or come into his kingdom. But he sat outside his gate because he was so devastated because of all of the news of him hearing that the Jews are dying all over the provinces. And we see that other people all over the provinces are mourning at the deaths of their family members, or just people they knew, friends, and just seeing them dead and seeing their ashes. And it's just a lot of sadness going around, lots of death, and it's just a devastating time. Eventually, Esther's young woman and her eunuchs come to tell her about the news that is going on, and immediately she becomes distressed. She becomes worrisome, and she's just confused of why this is going on. So she called to one of King Ahasuerus's eunuchs. His name was Hamhath, and she asked him to go and speak to Mordecai and ask him what was wrong and what was going on and why he was outside the gate in sackcloth. And Mordecai told the eunuch what was going on, and they did a couple back and forth, talking to him, running back and forth from Mordecai to Esther. So he was running around a lot, but Mordecai told Hamhath to tell Esther what was going on and tell her, and Mordecai wanted her to go to the king and plead to him and get this act to stop, and to stop Haman from committing all these murders all over the place, and for the king to rebuke it and to get rid of that. But Esther said that it's against the law. She can't go in to the king's palace without being called, and if she did, then death would happen. I don't exactly know why. I should do some research on that, but it was just a thing that was back then. If anybody went into the king's palace without being invited or being asked to come in by him, they would die. So she was too scared and knew that she couldn't do it and it was wrong. So Hamhath went back and told Mordecai what his daughter had said. And again, he became devastated, but he then pleaded with her more, and eventually Esther gave in and she did the right thing. She knew what the right thing was. So this is what she says in verse 16 and what she decides to do. I'm just going to read it to you. Verse 16 and 17 says, "Go, gather all the Jews to be found in Susa, and hold a fast on my behalf, and do not eat or drink for 3 days, neither day. I and my young woman will also fast as you do. Then I will go to the king, though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." Mordecai then went away and did everything as Esther had ordered him. So we see here Esther is finally coming to her senses, and she knows what the right thing to do is. And if she has to die, then she's going to die for it. It's great. Great mindset to have. Like, you're going to go and do what you're not supposed to do, even though you could die from it, but it's going to be saving. It might have a chance to save others. Kind of resembles back to the story of Jesus, you know. He gave his life on the cross to sacrifice himself for us. I mean, it's totally different, but you can see her becoming more like Jesus right there, I feel like, because that's what we are meant to do, is become more like Jesus. And even though Jesus wasn't in the Bible, I mean, he wasn't introduced yet, doesn't mean people weren't acting like to do the right thing. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I was just trying to think of something. But yeah, she decided to go to the king and to tell him and try to get it rebuked, try to plead with him. And Mordecai was obviously very happy because he left the gate and decided to do what she told him. He started following her orders instead of the way around, I guess. But yeah, but there's a lot going on, and I just feel like more and more is going to happen each chapter. And I feel like a lot has happened in only 4 chapters. We got 6 more to go. It's been pretty good. Let me see if I got anything in here to go over. Yeah, we know that chapters 3 and 4 were a threat against the Jews, and now we're going to be diving into the victory of the Jews. So that's good news. Chapters 5 through 10, the victory of the Jews. Can't wait to see how that plays out. There's a couple questions here. I'm just going to give you, I'll probably answer them next time, but it says, give at least one historical example of an attempt to wipe out the Jewish race. What role does Satan play in anti-Semitism, hatred towards Jewish people? And how should the church respond to anti-Semitism? I don't exactly know what that is, but I'll look it up and do some research and talk about next vlog. But thank you guys for listening again. It's been a great time. I just want to share also a little something what I heard in church today. We dove into John 15, verses 1 through 11, and it was all about abiding in Christ, you know, because it's about that vine. It's about the, it's about the vines and the vine dresser, and just abiding in Christ and doing what we're called to do. And abiding in Christ means to rest and remain in Christ. It means that when you abide in Christ, we're going to grow. We're going to grow so much as we abide in Christ, and we take those practices of abiding in Him, such as reading the Word, such as praying, such as fasting, such as just spreading His Word. If we practice those things, we're going to be abiding in Him and growing more and more each day. Something also that I took from it, a cool little, just a quotation from the pastor speaking. He says, "Obedience to God gives you wings, not chains." I mean, that's just truly amazing. And it's so true that if we obey God to the best of our ability, and we strive to be better and strive to be more like Him, we're going to fly. We're going to fly to Him. We're going to fly with Him. And we're not going to be locked down or chained down because God gives us free will. And that's amazing. Hopefully it made sense tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Peace out.